Hello everyone on the internet and thanks for tuning in. I'm RyuKiva of RyuKiva Toku.
And welcome to another episode of Toku Bros. I am your co-host, the Winter Cosplayer, and this is Rider Talk.
Joe Dragon! I think I
No,
improvised on the melody on that one.
a little. It sounded more like a cat dying mixed with a nail on a chalkboard. Yeah, but anyway, we'll get to that disastrous talk later. But we do have a lot to get through, so let us kickstart us off with a couple of with Saber themed, but books instead. So let's
Books,
kickstart
I
with.
don't read. Go on.
According to the Tokusatsu Network, it's been announced that there will be a new Deneb novel,
Oh yeah?
or within the Deno line.
The Deno
In regards
line.
to the
Go on.
good one. In regards to Deneb and Zeranos as well, and it is very vague as to what the detail will be on that. But
So no idea what it's about.
not specifically, but it will be based on Zeranos and Deneb, as far as we're aware. We are aware
Okay.
that the release date will be November the 30th, so next week, and the price will be the limited edition will be 2,200 yen, and the novel itself will be 770 yen. There is no. Oh, and the the limited edition will come with a premium packaging with a keychain containing the original illustration of Deneb featured in the novel.
Interesting, okay.
But besides that, there is no specificity in regards to.
Details. Okay, fair enough.
But moving on from that, there is also on Toku Network. It's also been announced there will be a new photo book
Oh yeah?
from the 01 line. And forgive me, but it's a long title. Called "You Are the Light That Illuminates Me, Kamen Rider 01 Aruto Naito."
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, aside from that, it's very again vague. What details aside from 16 different interviews, dialogues, conversations, and roundtable discussions. So there will be more backstage stuff. I want to think.
Sounds good.
Just very much so, and there's no prices yet on that, and the release date on that will be December 4th.
Boom. Okay. Right. So I reckon going on from talking about 01, the picture book, photo book, let's talk about the movie trailers that were released a few days ago. So we did have
Right.
the 01 trailer for Real Time. And then we had the trailer just before that for the Kamen Rider Saber movie called The Phoenix Swordsman.
Correct. Yes.
Right, so I'm just going to talk about my opinions on this. Because, like,
Right.
alright, so we are 11 episodes into Kamen Rider Saber. And I'm going to
Yes.
say, like, it seems to have, like, this very casual, laid back kind of vibe. Whereas both these trailers are very cinematic in their presentation. So the fact that they really go really heavy on the cinematic presentation for the Saber movie really kind of bugs me, because it's like, this isn't the vibe. This isn't the vibe that we get from the series. So like the cinematic trailer where it's like really dramatic, I mean, all right, fair enough that the series has like all the sword fighting, etc., but the way they present the fighting and the whole apocalypse style theme, it's really cinematic, which isn't the vibe that I get from the series, which I will be talking about specifically episode 11 in a moment. But when it comes to Real Time, now I feel this is the opposite. So obviously we talked about 01 earlier this year. The series ended earlier, like a couple months ago. And, it's a great series. It's like, they do the drama really well. Whereas
Yes.
I kind of feel that the trailer for Real Time is very lackluster. So even though it's still got that cinematic presentation, I'm just kind of like I'm a little bit underwhelmed, if I'm honest. Like,
Really?
like it shows because the way they show Eden isn't doesn't have the same impact that he revealing Eden in the series had. I mean, clearly not, because obviously it was a really big reveal. But just kind of like seeing him there, and like you've got like Izu there, or I think I think he renamed the new Izu, so it's Izu. No, not Azu. No, not Azu. Not Azu. Izu. As it. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil the series, but still, the one thing I did like from the 01 trailer is we do see Valkyrie on a bike. Now, like like the fact that it's Kamen Rider, we don't really see, like even in Saber at the moment, we've only seen the bike in like one episode. So I think the fact that we've got Valkyrie on a stunt bike is pretty cool. Because I'm pretty sure, because unless, like I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I don't remember seeing I only remember seeing 01 on a bike maybe for like 3 different episodes, maybe. Which again, it's always a bit of a contest when like fans talk about how much they actually show a cycle of some description in Rider. So seeing Valkyrie on a stunt bike is pretty cool in my opinion. But ultimately, and again, a little bit of a spoiler, and like there's a lot, I'll throw it over to you in a second. But the one thing that's really big about this trailer is we see 01 and 02 in the same screenshot. And a lot of people are really speculating heavily on this. Go on, your thoughts.
I was going to say, and bearing in mind, I have not seen either of the trailers. I'm just going by the poster and the title alone. Number one, I feel the Saber poster looks good.
Oh I saw the poster a while back.
But the title, The Phoenix Swordsman, is a very how can I word it, generic, as though if it's like for a novel. To
be fair, it is. I mean, because we talked about the reveal of the actual movie Rider last week, so we know it kind of makes sense anyway. And sure, like how, bearing in mind it is like book themed, etc. We can't really be too surprised, I guess.
But this one really got me though. Number one, as you rightly mentioned about having both 01 and 02 in the same image on the poster. But this is more.
It wasn't the poster, I don't think. Well, no, I mean, I know I've seen the 01 poster, and it's like, the fact that they've called it real time. It's like there must be a time. Everyone's saying there's going to be a time travel element.
No. Right. For what I first thought, that was more of a suitable title for Gio.
I mean, well, what? I mean, because I think it's based on, because like Zio's movie was called Overquartz, which was a direct which, bear in mind, Build's movie was also called Be the One. So like they've obviously, for the last two Centrist movies, they've literally just taken the opening theme song title, whereas at least for 01, they've kind of spun it a little bit. So instead of calling it Real Eyes, they've called it Real Time, and then we see 01 and 02 together. A lot of people are speculating that it's time travel, but then there's a lot of people saying, because there's a form of Arc 1 in this movie as well, people are like, who is Aruto actually going to be? So again, there's a lot of mishmash going on with the details we've got. It should, again, as long as it lives up to the series at least a little bit, it should hopefully make sense rather than just being a calamity, right?
Did 01 have a mid-season movie, a Christmas movie?
No, because of COVID.
Oh, so this is my.
No, this is why they're doing this. Again, like just again, it's not that much of big news, but this is why they are doing a Saber movie and a 01 movie, and they're releasing them at the same time. Because typically it'd be the Centrist movie would come like as a sort of epilogue to the series. So like Be the One and Geo were all set after the series ended. Obviously 01's also being set after series ended, but instead of being released back in the summer, it's being released now. And again, instead of having a crossover of Riders, they're literally just releasing 2 separate Rider movies. So it's, unless they incorporate some sort of crossover in both these movies, it is very unlikely that we will see Saber and 01 crossover. Which, like people, again, like I'm not the hottest on these crossover movies. I think the last crossover movie I actually really liked was It's probably, I mean, like I remember liking the Wizard and Gaim crossover in the movie wise. I think it was called Ultimatum or something. But otherwise, I'm not that hot on Rider. Yeah, I'm not that fussed about Rider
Mm,
crossover movies anyway.
fair enough. I mean, so well, I know we don't talk about Sentai, but I feel personally Sentai do a little bit of a better job when it comes to crossovers.
They've had more practice at it, and to
Yeah.
be fair, like I watched. I mean, I've not, like I've not even talked about this in Sentai Talk, but I did watch Ryu Soldier versus Lupat, and that was a pretty decent movie. But admittedly, like generally, Sentai crossovers are a bit generic, apart from the ones that really stand out. So so the one that was released right at the beginning of the year was pretty good. But otherwise, my favourite's always going to be Go Busters versus Kyoryuja for all the obvious reasons. So if we move on, I believe
Yeah.
you've got some toy news to talk to us about.
Yes, yes, we do. So again, on Toku Network, it was announced that there will be a new premium Bandai Wonder Ride book called the Hoshin Kamen Engi Wonder Ride book, which is basically a for those that have currently seen the Kamen Rider Saber series, you've got your Journey to the East Wonder Ride book. It's basically a white variation of that. It is literally just that, to be honest. But again, I don't believe this is literally just a premium Bandai item. And it is said to be 1100 yen. And there, as far as I'm aware, no release date on it.
Okay.
But aside from that, then moving on from books to swords with the actual henshin device itself,
The sword
there
driver.
will, yes, the Seiken sword driver. Now, not the driver itself, but the sword itself, the Kaenka Rekka, there will be a new premium edition released.
Okay.
And this premium edition will have a micro SD slot
Okay.
included, along with a micro SD card as well, which can also be, I believe, updated. And I quote, this version of the Kankareka features the addition of a micro SD card slot using the included micro SD card, and it's a dedicated SD card adapter. New lines of chapters, dialogues can be added to the sword for additional play value.
Boom.
So at the end of the day, it's merely a glorified update. No disrespect. I don't see
Damn,
any.
alright.
I don't see. I mean, from my personal perspective, and I'm going to quickly compare it to the premium edition of the Ryu Soldier sword, and that MGO316 did a fantastic review on it, and it looks like a proper length sword, as opposed to a toy line where it's just basically a glorified butter knife.
Nice. Alright,
But
that
but just to quickly add upon it, so it's going to be released on Christmas Day, and the pricing, according to this, will be 8,800 yen. Wait, I correct myself. Pre-orders from Christmas Day, and it will be released on March 2021.
sounds about right. Cool, let's move on to the big one, episode 11. So,
Yes.
this episode, I felt it was enjoyable. I mean, a little understated and very casual in my opinion. So it wasn't as intense as it should be considering what went down in this episode. That comic intro Tassel, though, was actually funny in such a corny way. But yet his outro was a massive cop-out in my opinion. That's straight
I'm
up.
gonna I'm gonna get back to that. I'll get back to that. But I mean,
No?
me personally, I actually liked the episode for what it was. I mean, whilst granted I watched it raw, I will premise, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I felt it actually gave more substance.
Mm-hmm.
There was more. Um, I mean, if I gave all my 2 cents for a minute, I felt Tassel's opening was just a generic opening, but the ending was actually interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
actually, no, forgive me, but I felt he actually gave something, he gave substance to his character as opposed to.
no, but
He,
he did that in episode 10, and then episode 11, it's like all he does is answer a door. Like, I was expecting
you
something
never
with a
know.
little bit more meat, a little bit more substance. That's just my
You
opinion.
never know who it could be, though.
Yeah,
You
but
don't know
this,
who it
yeah,
could
but this
be.
is it. But to me, it was a cop out because there was meant to be something really revealed here, but all he does is, oh, someone's at the door. That's
So
just my
when did,
opinion on this,
so
though.
when did they find the point? When did they find the point, though,
Not
of, you know,
really, not really, cause again, it's just like he has like his random little. Because at the moment, Tassel's just trapped in his random little bubble at the moment, on the outside, looking in on Saber's world. That's all I'm getting at the moment. But
yes.
like, of course, like I will actually move straight on from this because we could just go around in circles talking about Tassel. But of course, the highlight for everyone, I guess,
Yeah.
like I mean, like before we talk about the highlight, actually, to the actual episode though, I'm not entirely sure what May managed to unlock with the key that she was given, and yet Buster had such a slight part that could have had a deeper origin story. I'm not even sure what like sort of like jumping on all these little bits for the main bit. Like, the monster of the week, I'm not even sure what it was even supposed to be. They just look like henchmen to me that are about to bring the end of the world somehow. So there are 3 points I've made there. What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Right. So with Buster and Kenzan, I feel they're just now for this episode or
Well,
storyline, whatever you want to
Kenzan
call it.
had like one very brief scene, but I was specifically referring to Buster and the red face monster, the red
Right.
face
Bus-
commander.
I was gonna say I feel Buster. Well, I'm interested as to what that relation will be between the
But
two,
that's
but I
it.
feel
They
he.
could have put a little bit more of an origin story in this episode. I mean, yeah, sure, if they're going to do it like a long term, like a long drawn out thing, but they could have given
But
us a
I
little
feel.
bit more than just, oh,
Yeah.
we've known each other before. Like,
Yeah.
was this
But I feel
before
like
Buster had a kid or what? They could have given us a little bit more something than just one
it,
line. That's just my
it feels
opinion.
like. Yeah, I feel like he's been benched for this current storyline. If you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like stuff.
well, I mean, as it was established by the commanders, there are currently 6 hero riders. So that's,
Yeah.
that is pretty much, this is just episode 11. And bearing in mind, we've had 6 riders for about at least 4 episodes now. So bearing in mind, in Sentai, they won't introduce a 6th ranger until like 15, round about the 15 mark. But whereas we've had 6 riders for quite some time at least. So it's neither here nor there on that.
Can I, when it comes to asking about the henchmen looking, did you get a very uh
I got a very
what,
generic bland. I don't know what the hell they were, which is what I already
no, no, no.
said, but still.
The henchmen from Machine Empire from the
Machine
OVA?
Empire's in Zeo?
Yes,
No. Because
I
they,
got a very.
nah. I mean, again, I didn't get any. Again, I did not know what they were. There was one of them, and then suddenly there were a few of them, and then a few of them jumped off the building. I'm like, what is this?
It's just with the slight armament, kind of gave me
Nah,
a.
nah,
What's
nah. I didn't get any O-Ranger vibes from this at all.
really?
So, shall we go on to the main story? Right, so this is all about Rintaro and Kento. The fact that blue and yellow are getting focus episodes, who says this is becoming more like Sentai? I mean, we've got
Yes.
like all this argument going on, and to be fair, like again, where I mentioned earlier, I felt this was a very casual episode. I don't know, I mean, obviously I think the actors were giving their all, they were doing their best, and there wasn't really much more they could do, but I'm still like, why do I not feel that this should still be like a bit more gravitas to it? It's like, I
Mm.
mean, like to give Kento his due, I was getting some really strong, like, massive Ryuki vibes from his attitude. What are your thoughts on, like, the main part of this episode?
So I am gonna actually oppose to. While I would agree, Rintaro was actually really good, but I felt Kento was a bit felt more like a sport brat kind of thing. from my angle.
Kento, okay. I
I
mean,
just felt like he wouldn't stop.
going on about his dad, but that's kind of the thing, though. Like, it's like I think there were some two that both sides brought very good points straight
But
up. I mean,
I just
obviously,
felt that
because
Kento,
obviously the way that the episode was written, in my opinion, the way the episode was written was like gave Rintaro sort of the upper moral, the upper hand.
yeah,
Whereas, and again, like, obviously Kento mugged him off. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get my revenge and I'm gonna give my sword back anyway, which is an amazing clapback, to be fair. But still, I mean, obviously,
but
we're going to talk about the fight scenes in a minute, but like, sort of the end scene with Rintaro. I mean, obviously, I'm seeing a bit of editing errors where
yeah,
like he's spluttering blood, and then you zoom in on his face, and his
right,
face is clean. So
right.
that was
And
a big editing.
right, on that, right. Number one, I feel that, and I'm just gonna quickly go a little against on what you said. In that one, um, I felt the execution, while the writing may have been okay, but the execution between, as you say, one they both had their own qualms, sorry, thoughts, their own approaches and such between Kento and Rintaro. Well, Rintaro was very noble, if you will. I thought Kento's style was just rushed, ruined, whatever you want to call it, like a
Okay.
sport
No, I can
kind of stuff.
see that. I can see why you'd think that, though. Okay, like,
Um, Now, in regards to the graphics of the blood, in short, I'm just surprised that they actually inserted that much personally. Well, we've seen what's it, red blood traces through cuts and whatever on, say, I don't know, the previous series, that being 0 1, for instance, here and there through cuts. For them to actually be able to spit blood out, even whether I'm just surprised they were
I mean, all right, yeah,
given.
sure, it was a bit graphic, but I think in terms,
Yeah,
like, 1 minute he has a lot of blood, next minute is clean. It's like,
no, no, no.
nah.
Yeah. What I get where you're coming from. I'm just surprised the actual they got permission to, or they were actually allowed to actually regurgitate blood.
I don't know. I mean, they show blood every so often, but it's not like Power Rangers where they don't at all, or very rarely. But I'll now jump on to like what caused all this. Our man, Jow Dragon. So I see
Mm.
Jow Dragon, and I'm just thinking this looks a lot like the Ryukendo suits, and I'm like, it looks alright, but it's meh. But I'll still have a mild interest in what this end of the world means. So I do feel they could have written this whole episode better to have given it more weight. But we've got this whole episode end of the world vibe. We've got Jao Dragon using his Dragon Wonder Ride book. So it's neither here nor there. Your thoughts on Jao Dragon and the fight? Yeah, like the fight scenes, I didn't even think were that impressive. And like, sorry, I threw it over to you and I took it back again. But like, but to go to the fight scenes quickly, like you had Alan Gina versus Jao Dragon, and I'm just
Yes.
like, I could have fought better than Alan Gina. I'm like, he's just standing there letting Jao Dragon hit him. I'm like, come on, I could do better than this. And I'm the fat guy on my sofa watching Ninja Warrior. This is the sort of thing that it is. So go on, your thoughts.
One, and I'll do a reversal. And what I mean by that is the action itself, cack. I feel like again it was
All
just
right. Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it was again Kento being a rowdy sport brat, throwing a stick around, going or screaming with a stick, effectively trying to hit air. That's pretty much it. There was no grit. There was no weight to his actual attacks. Whereas, and that washed away the actual grit to what Zhao Dragon's finisher did to Rintaro. And it just dissolved all the effect. It dissolved all the impact, if you will. But that aside, how in regards to Zhao Dragon looks, I love it. I see where you're coming from. That's why I just had to quickly type as to what to remind myself in regards to Ryukendo. I do see that, but a bit of the power grid armor as well.
Power Grid.
Was it Green Ranger's grid armor?
No, no.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I'm sorry, I've got to disagree on that 100. I mean, because I already mentioned last week that I saw comparisons to Decade's base form, like with the sort of grid look on the shoulders, but that's it. That is literally it for me. So, any final thoughts on episode 11?
Right. I feel this opened doors. While the execution for the episode itself was very meh, it was very average. I did enjoy it, but because it opened more doors, it opened more character development for, or hopefully a better character development for Kento in the future. Let's see what Rintaro does in the future. I couldn't give two toshes about Toma on this episode, thank goodness. That said...
No, Toma did play a lot of a backseat. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, good. I was actually happy with that. Can I just quickly ask, before I finish my 2 cents on this, can I just ask, what do you think this whole pillar of lights are?
Again, I have no opinion on that. I'm just like, yeah, we've seen this in Wizard, we've seen this in so many Toku before. I mean, it's probably just like, I don't know, because he keeps talking about the truth, doesn't he? So I think some googly monster's going to come down and be like, oh, the truth is you're all wankers. I don't know, no. My honest answer is I don't know, but I guess we will find out. Yeah?
But I mean, just to quickly finish off,
yes.
I will say that I am looking forward to what May's role will be, especially what does she unlock with the mysterious key, what mysteries does Sophia have, where if a father of Kento does still exist or not, whatever, and let's see how this all unfolds.
It will be very interesting. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You can catch us all on the social medias as per usual. I seem to be doing this in reverse order. So you got myself, RyuKiva of RyuKiva Toku. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Discord, YouTube, Twitter, and my neglected WordPress site, ryukivatoku.wordpress.com. I am actually expecting 1,000 this week, so let's see how that goes. You've then got ourselves, the Toku Bros. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Discord. The Discord group will be in the chat as well, in the description, as well as this very YouTube channel and Twitter at Toku Bros 71. And finally, my boy, the Winter Cosplayer. You can catch him on Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. So thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all again next time. And as always, fish with a cam.
This through the kit.
See you next time.